What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight, bro? Listen, I found out I low-key gotta get on here and just talk because when I first started this channel, right, I used to have my notebook. I would take my notebook and I would write down like a couple notes or something. Like when I first started, I would write down a whole script almost. Like after my first video, the next couple videos I would write a whole script and then I would kind of go off of that. And then after a while, I kind of got better at just talking in front of the camera, and then I would just start freestyling. But I tried to go back to like doing like little notes and stuff for when I was talking. It doesn't work, bro. I'm not gonna lie, cause I feel like I'm just much better off the top of my head. Like whenever I have notes on a paper, I feel I feel boxed in. Like I feel like I'm limited to what's on the paper. I feel like I have a guideline to follow. I find myself too trying to stick too strictly to what I have written down, and it just never ends up the way I want to because I just feel boxed in. I feel limited to my speech. You feel me? But shout out to everybody tuning in. Look, these videos, and this funny enough, this is why I freestyle, because everything just kind of slides off super smoothly. But these videos upcoming, I'm gonna say is gonna be a lot more natural. It's just probably gonna be mostly unedited, just me chatting, no topic 100% in particular, but we always kind of touch on something somewhere, you know. But for the most part, these videos are gonna be just like this, probably uncut. Now, obviously, in the future, I'm gonna invest into like better equipment, better things. Like I said in one of my previous videos, when I came back, for anybody who thinks I quit this thing, no, my goal in life has always been to speak publicly, to influence the youth, and even though I'm one of them, to influence people to take control of their lives, bro. That's kind of my mission. But I've said it enough times. If y'all don't understand, then I mean it's not for me to help y'all understand. But so when it comes to these videos, right, one of my main things is just sitting down and recording, because if I sit down, dwell on a video for too long, then I find myself just, it's like, what's the word? It's not procrastination, but it's like when you think so much about something that it's like analysis paralysis. Like you spend all your time thinking about something and zero time doing. There's something I find really interesting about like the term analysis paralysis. I heard somebody say earlier, because I be watching other podcasts and stuff like that. I heard somebody say earlier, like, people don't realize how much time they spend wasting. Like, it takes so much more time BSing around than it does to actually do the thing. Like, there will be something that you've been dwelling on for like 4 years, something you've been wanting to do for 2 years, even like shorter time frame, something you've been wanting to do for like a month. And then if you would just take the time to do whatever that thing is, you might find that thing took you 20 minutes to do. It's really funny how it goes. Like, but that's kind of the idea of avoidance, like the topic of avoidance. I tried to make a video about avoidance, but I just, the notes just didn't help me. So I just wanted to kind of freestyle today about some things, but that flows directly into avoidance. We have a habit of avoidance, and it creates a lot of problems in our lives. Like, just think about anything that you want to do or have wanted to do in your life, and think about how avoidance has gotten in your way of all time, every time. And I would call it avoidance, not procrastination. Procrastination is a little bit different. When I think of procrastination, I kind of lean more towards productivity and just the idea that you're kind of laying off a task. You know what I mean? So like, the way I kind of explain it is, for procrastination, it's more so like, I don't really feel like getting into the stressfulness of whatever may come with what I'm about to do. I'm not really trying to get into that, so I'm just gonna go relax, or I'm gonna go do something else. You're basically like relieving yourself of the potential stress of a task. When I think of avoidance, I think of doing anything but that thing. So like, let's say you should be doing this, but instead you're gonna go clean your room because like you'd rather do anything but do that. Instead, you'd rather go wash the dishes than do that task. You'd rather go hide in a corner than do this. It's like, Avoidance is a whole nother level of it. It's like I'm just avoiding it. I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible, basically. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous to fall into that game of avoidance, and when it comes to absolutely anything, it's one of the biggest killers. Mel Robbins once said that everything you want is in the tasks that you're avoiding. Everything you want is in the things you're avoiding. You got to think like when it comes to progression, we talk all the time about being comfortable and being uncomfortable. The reality of it is, if it's comfortable, it's likely not what you need to be doing, because you're trying to do outside of yourself. You know what I mean? So if you're used to a certain behavior, more than likely, if you want improvement in your life, the core principle is that you need to change your habits. You need to adjust your habits, because your habits build your identity. And if you can't gain control of your habits, you can never truly obtain the reality that you want. So you have to start with your habits. Have to start with your habits. But if you lean too far into that avoidant mentality, that avoidant habit, it's gonna become very hard for you to get past things. If you find yourself like, you need to be doing this, you need to be studying for school, and you find yourself just doing anything else, just avoiding it, you have to fight back. You have to. What I use is the 5 second rule. I've talked about it many times on this channel. The reason why the 5 second rule works is because when you're avoiding, more times than not, it's out of habit. Anytime you're avoiding something, it's out of habit of just choosing comfort over discomfort. That's kind of what it comes down to. You'd rather avoid this stress, so you're gonna just stay away from it at all costs. So it comes down to comfort and discomfort. And as we know, like I said, if you're comfortable, you're probably in the wrong space. So you have to choose discomfort sometimes. And I know it's hard to say or hard to do. Easier said than done a lot of times, but it's kind of something you have to lean into. You have to choose discomfort a lot of the time. That's kind of where the growth is. It's supposed to be uncomfortable at first until it becomes comfortable, and next thing you know, it's natural, it's second nature, and now that's kind of shifted your identity. You're now a new person, you know what I mean? Or at least you move off different principles. The person I am today wasn't a person that was built overnight. Like, anybody will tell you, I haven't always been the way I am now. It's kind of been through years of practices of understanding who I want to be and what it takes to become that person. And I mean, it's a never ending process. Like, I always sit here and be like, this is what I want out of my life, and this is what I got to do to get it. It'll never stop being me chasing new or higher levels of myself. Like, it's not like I'm trying to shift my identity every two seconds or change, but there are things that I can improve on, and the reality of it is, it takes time to improve on a lot of different things. You know what I mean? But if you set goals for yourself, then you just work towards it, and I promise you'll get there. But another topic I want to talk about, and I'll pull this up too. I was hearing about this book, and I haven't bought a new book in a while, so it immediately piqued interest for me, just because I haven't bought a new book in a while. So I have it. This book is on the way currently. I have this book already on the way. I think I ordered it earlier today, so it's coming. What's today? Yeah, it's coming tomorrow. So what I ordered was a book called Ultra Learning: The Essential Guide to Mastering Hard Skills and Future Proofing Your Career. So the reason why I ordered this book, right? I've never talked about this in the past, but I definitely, at some point in my life within the next couple of years, a goal of mine is definitely to publish my own book. That would be huge for me, you know what I mean? And I'm not in a rush to do it, but it's a goal of mine for sure in the future. Whether that happens sooner or later, it's definitely a goal of mine. Um, as of currently, right now, I'm not in a rush to do it, just because I'm not gonna say I have other focuses, but it's lower on the importance list as far as growth is concerned. Like, on a scale of what's my number one priority to grow in my passion, it falls very low. That's more of like, once I kind of see that traction, and once I kind of am at a place where I feel comfortable in in this space, then that's kind of what I'll keep heading towards. But the reason why I wanted to buy that book, and the reason I'm telling you about this book, is because of the concept of directness. The concept of directness. It seems like a simple word, the word direct, simple word, and we all know what direct means, but you know how I like to do things. Let's go to the dictionary definition. Direct definition: moving from one place to another by the shortest way without changing direction or stopping, without intervening factors or intermediaries, or going straight to the point. Direct implies constant guiding and regulating so as to achieve smooth operation. Let's see. So these are all good definitions, but I want to find like that right. Okay, so let's do it like this, right? Let's think of the word direct. Let's think of it like a line. So the way, I wish I had a whiteboard with me right now. The way I kind of think of it is, what a lot of people do, and this is pertaining to goals. This is anything in life. Anything in life where there's an option between directness and beating around the bush. This comes down to like productivity. This comes down to communication. This comes down to just like waking up in the morning. Like, these comes down to the simplest things, and it's such a simple concept, but it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Directness. If let's say this is you're here and this is where you're trying to go to. The reality of most situations is there is a most efficient, damn, I can't even see anymore. The reality of most situations is there is a most efficient way to get from A to B. That's pretty much in any area of life. There is a most efficient way to get from A to B. What most people do is they avoid, the habit of avoidance, right? So these go hand in hand. The habit of avoidance stops you from going from A to B in a straight direct line, in a linear path. The habit of avoidance stops you from going from A to B in a linear path, meaning you find yourself leaning towards ways of fake productivity or ways of false gratification. So let me try to find a good example in my head for you guys. Let's say you want to learn how to shoot a basketball. We're going back to like 2024 with the basketball references. If you want to learn how to shoot a basketball, from A to B, the most linear path, the most straightforward path from A to B, the most direct path would be to get a basketball, go out and shoot a certain amount of shots a day. Shoot the ball every day, a number of times, and eventually you will get better. It is the most direct path from A to B, is to shoot if you want to learn how to shoot a basketball, the most direct path is shooting a basketball. Now, what people tend to do, and this is why people fail to see growth in the speed that they're looking for, or just feel discouraged in the end, is because they fall into false productivity. So even though this is the most linear path, what people tend to do is they say, all right, I want to learn how to shoot a basketball. So the first thing I'm going to do is go on YouTube and search up how to shoot a basketball, right? So already you're kind of behind, because this guy he's already outside shooting a basketball. Then this guy's already searching up on YouTube how to shoot a basketball. Now that he watched the video on how to shoot a basketball, you would think he would go to shooting a basketball, but no, he's going to do research on the best basketball to shoot. The best basketball for learning how to shoot, right? So now he's way behind, because he's done two things before ever even getting on the court and shooting a basketball. So does this make sense to you guys? You have a linear straight path, A to B, and most people, instead of going straight line, what they do is they just run in place, like just a hamster on a wheel. The best way I can explain this, I heard somebody saying a quote, and I don't know if this quote's from the book or not, but I heard somebody saying a quote that it's like running on a treadmill. If there's two people in competition for the same goal, let's say they're like reaching a certain destination, the people who go in the straight linear path from A to B, they or let's slow it down a little bit. The people who refuse to go in a linear path from A to B, the people who run like a hamster wheel, it's like running on a treadmill. So you're running, you're doing the action. You are physically doing something. That is kind of the idea. You are doing something. A step has been taken, except you're running in place. So you're running. The goal is to get to a certain destination, except you're running on a treadmill. You're doing something, but it's not the most direct forward or best approach to what the goal is. So you could run on a treadmill for hours. You could run on a treadmill for literally hours, and the person who gets on the sidewalk and runs 5 steps is already ahead of you. That is the perfect picture for the understanding of a direct linear path from A to B. If you have a goal, you have to find what that direct path is, and you have to go for it without any other like swaying. And you just have to accept it for what it is. More than likely, the linear path is going to be the hardest because it is going to be the one that induces the most failure. It's just likely to come with it, but it's also the most direct. It gets you on the field and gets your practice. You know what I mean? There's no amount of videos or research online that can prepare you for certain things. You kind of have to just get out there and try it for yourself. Find the most direct path and go for it. And like I said, it goes hand in hand with avoidance. If you catch yourself avoiding committing to that direct path, you have to cut it off. Do your 5-second rule, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and make a decision towards that linear path. Don't find yourself trying to combat it. If you find yourself avoiding this linear path, you have to fight against it. If you are trying to start running, right? So one of the things I've been doing lately is I've been trying to get into running. So I've been trying to run every day. Well, just kind of physical exercise in general. So I started playing basketball again, and I started running. And I've been making it a daily goal to do one or the other at least. But I've been doing kind of both. Today I just played basketball, but tomorrow we'll try to wake up early and go for a run. I got my alarm set for like 6:30. So if you say you want to start running, the most linear path, the most efficient A to B path would be to get a pair of running shoes and get out there and run your first lap. You know what I mean? Whether it be short, whether it be long, whether you feel tired, whether you don't, whether you take 10 steps and come back to the house, whether you run half a mile, like it doesn't matter. Just get out, go get your running shoes, get out there, start running. Even if you don't have running shoes, like do a lap in your Crocs for the first day until you build up that habit. That is the most linear path. Like there's basically no sugarcoat and no wasting time in that path. You go straight to it versus researching the best running shoe, finding the best time to run, calling up a bunch of friends to try to get a run group going. These are things that people do and don't even notice that are just avoidance habits. It's habit of avoidance. You're doing anything but the most direct task. You're following everything but the most linear path. And that's why the idea of directness and avoidance go hand in hand. It's kind of one of those concepts that I think is very like beautiful. It's like harmony when you think about it. It's like, here's the thing you're avoiding, and that thing you're avoiding is the number one thing that will get you the growth that you desire. It's the craziest thing in the world. The one thing that you're avoiding is the one thing that you have to do. Like Mel Robbins said, the success that you're looking for is in the things that you're avoiding. It's a true statement. I find it, when she said it, I found that to be a very like beautiful statement, because it's so true, but we never think about it. Because on the surface level, it's like, yeah, obviously the success in the things we're avoiding because we're not doing. It's kind of obvious. But when you go deeper and think a little bit deeper about it, it's like, wow, she's right. Because the one thing we're avoiding is the most direct action, because it's the most demanding. It's the most demanding task that we could do. And it's also it kind of gives us the most fear, because it has the most potential for failure. The most direct task usually has the biggest potential for failure, and that's kind of why we stay away from it. But the task we're avoiding is the most direct task. It follows that linear path. If you find yourself avoiding that direct path, you have to get a grasp and reverse it, because you are actively holding yourself back. That is kind of the reality we're looking at. You're actively holding yourself back. Well, I could probably go all night about this topic, but we're at 21 minutes. That's a good episode. I think what I'm gonna do is record these every now and again, get some clips, post them on TikTok. So look, the goal is to post one piece of content every single day. I've been doing good for about 10 days now. 10 days now, I've been going in a row. I've been posting a piece of content every single day, whether that be on YouTube or TikTok. The goal to me is kind of post at least 1 or 2 videos a week on YouTube, and then the rest TikTok. But we'll kind of see how things just fall in order. But as long as one piece of content goes up a day, that's kind of what it is. So let's real quick. I know I said I'm ending this, but that's another perfect example. It's like, if my goal is to grow on YouTube or to grow my community as far as public speaking, if I want to grow a small community, the number one thing I have to do is get myself out there. People have to know that I exist, and I have to bring some sort of value to the table. People have to look at me and say that there's something I can learn from this kid. You know what I mean? And being young, I don't have a whole lot of credibility. So to me, the number one thing I can do is to get myself out there. That is the most linear path, and whatever that entails is what I need to do. So if that's post videos, that's what I need to do. If I need to show up to this, that's what I need to do. If I need to sign up for this, that's what I need to do. Whatever I feel is the most direct path, that's what I'm gonna